December is for a reset, not for reinvention. December is not about overhauling your life, building from the ground up, building from scratch, or about rebranding your life completely and causing more internal chaos. None of that here, okay? December is for refining what already works. This is how I'm closing out the year calmly and going in to 2026. Systems, sustainability, energy, and alignment without the pressure. First, I want us to do a little bit of a self-reflective audit so that before we even go setting any goals, because I know you're type A, that's why you're watching this video, I want us to do a little bit of reflecting to see how this year actually went. So let's think about sleep. For some of us, did we go to sleep at consistent times so that our circadian rhythm was on autopilot? Did we have late nights? Did we have a nighttime routine? Did we have supplements that perhaps helped our nighttime performance? What about training? Did we go into our training already knowing ahead of time what we were going to be doing in the gym, or did we show up at the gym just kind of meandering about? What about meals? What was our nutrition like this year? Did we have rotating meals that met our protein goals? For example, maybe you had a really great pasta salad that you had chicken in and had it every week and that helped you meet your protein goals? Or were you leaning into the convenience of, let me stop by Target real quick or whatever your convenience store is to grab lunch? And I also want us to think about where our energy went, especially during the work day. What parts of our work day really took the energy out of us? And on the other hand, what recovery was built into our day-to-days or into our weeks? Did we feel like we only took rest and recovery when we were forced to? I'm so guilty of that. Awareness creates clarity, and when we have clarity, we can make better decisions. Before we add, I want us to simplify things. Most people don't need more habits. In fact, they are overruled by decision fatigue, because when we have 20 million things, when we have 20 million options out there, we take more time to figure out what might be the best, when in reality, when we're given two options, sometimes the most efficient thing is to just pick between one or the other. So here are some of the things that I like to simplify. I create uniforms for myself, so when I go to work, I have a list of like repeat style outfits that I go to. So I let myself wear jeans once a week, and then I'll put loafers on once a week, or I'll let myself wear a cardigan another time of the week. I like to wear button-ups a lot, so I'll have that as part of my wardrobe, and I like to mix in like skirts or dresses, so I know I can go through my mental list and be like, have I worn my button-up? Have I worn my skirt this week? And I can go through that way. And same thing with meals, right? Once we figure out the meals that work for us, that hit our protein goal or whatever goal it is that you're working on in your nutrition aspect, you can then put those on a rotating basis so that you know that every time those meals are in your day-to-day or week-to-week, you are hitting your goals. What about setting your training days in advance? On Sundays, what I like to do is go ahead and map out what my next week of training is going to look like. So I know to mentally prepare for this day, I'm going to make sure I'm extra on it, or okay, this day I'm hitting legs, I want to make sure I start with this movement and this machine. So I'm planning ahead and I'm thinking and I'm being intentional when I'm showing up. One other big thing is letting go of habits that you already know won't work for you. If you are not a 5 a.m. girly, don't try to be a 5 a.m. girly. That is okay. No one is forcing you to be. Work with the things that work best for you and your way of living. When you have less friction, you have more follow through, you have more consistency. Let's talk about the training aspect a little bit more. Let's create a training blueprint. And again, I want us to just focus on one goal, whether that be strength training, fat loss, or maintenance, or whatever your goal might be. Just pick one goal. And for your training week, I want you to build your week around your strength training, your cardio, right? Because that's also good for heart health. And then we also want to make sure that we're incorporating rest and recovery into those days. So for me, I like to have my training days and then I do my cardio at the end of my training session. And then I have little pockets throughout the week where I have my rest and recovery time. Am I the greatest at keeping them? Not always, but I know that that time is there if I need it. Random workouts create random results. Intentional structure creates momentum. This one has been one of my biggest learnings in 2025, is learning how to put boundaries around your energy and your time. I'm not so focused on time management going into 2026. I am, obviously, to the extent that I have work that needs to be done. But I'm so focused on where my energy goes now, because where my energy goes, my focus, my thoughts, everything else goes. December is about noticing, when am I over available and when am I under available? Am I giving my time and my energy away to whoever? Which tasks drained me disproportionately? Like, there are definitely some things where I just even thinking about it, like sometimes I have to take out my recycling and my trash, and it's something that I just put off sometimes. It's just something that mentally drains me. And then there's thinking about what deserves my best energy and what doesn't. For example, showing up for my friends when they need me. That deserves my best energy. Showing up for people who, haven't put in the same effort, not so much. Protecting your energy makes consistency feel easier. Put your boundaries up where you need to. And another big part of this is putting boundaries around yourself and protecting your own time. Sometimes it can feel a little bit selfish when you put up these boundaries, but I'm here to tell you that it is okay. Because when you don't fill up your own cup, there's not anything that you can give out. Your work product, whatever it is, your work product, the way that you love and care for others, the way that you love and care for yourself, that is all affected if we don't have these boundaries around our time and our energy. Last, I want us to think about choosing alignment over pressure. So when it comes to incorporating a new habit into our routine, I want us to ask a couple of questions. Does this fit in my schedule? All right, we got to be able to look at the pockets of time that we have blocked off in our schedule and think, do I realistically have time for this? Does this habit support my energy or does it drain it? There are some habits, like for some people, creativity is a great outlet. That's an awesome way to pour back into your own cup. But if you're going to be, commissioning art or creating art for people and you're trying to do it by a deadline and then, it becomes less of a hobby. I'm not saying that that's bad, but it becomes more pressure for you, right? That's only going to drain you. That's not going to fill you back up. Another question is, can I maintain this habit when motivation is low, right? Do I have the habit in place to continue this even when I don't want to? Even on the days where you wake up and you feel like, oh my gosh, I just want to glue myself to this bed right now and I want the world to swallow me. Will you be able to do it then? Alignment looks like calm confidence, steady routines, and habits you actually want to keep, because these are the habits that align with the person that you want to be. Realistically, I know that it's kind of hard to conceptualize the type of habits that would make the person, make this vision of the person that you want to become true. But when we break those down into the micro daily habits, and when we start to incorporate these things, she becomes more realistic to us. If the highest version of you maybe tends to a luscious, beautiful garden, and right now you barely have any ability to grow herbs, well, maybe that's something that you need to be striving for, building up your little garden and, learning, deepening your knowledge, right? These are things that you have to incorporate. So maybe that looks like, I don't know, spending 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day researching on YouTube or learning about the different fertilizers. I don't know, you go just down this rabbit hole of knowledge, but it's up to you to incorporate these little pockets of what this ideal version of you would do throughout the day so that she is present in your day, on the day-to-day. Pressure fades, alignment stays. In sum, you don't need a loud, big, crazy plan to have a successful 2026. You can go into 2026 with strategy, with alignment, and feeling like you own the world. So go forth and conquer. Check the description for a worksheet with a lot of the same questions that we just discussed so that you can download and do at home. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.